Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about my stock picks for the week of September 7th through the 10th. Before we do, just to reiterate, not a financial advisor. Make sure that you do your own research before investing. Also, if you find value in today's video, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content, and hit that notification bell. That way YouTube can let you know every time we release new content. So let's dive right on into it. Alright guys, so before getting into the stock picks, you know the drill. We're going to do a recap of August the 30th through September the 3rd. So our picks were DT, Dynatrace, GNOG / DraftKings, and IQST. Looking at Dynatrace, up a little bit, about 5% for the week. Again, guys, this is a longer term play, but if you just did a swing play, you could have gotten about 5% gains on it. That's a good thing. It is kind of overvalued right now, so I don't know if it'll stay around here or fall back down into the 60s before moving up. But I see this one kind of continuously on a steady upward path for the foreseeable future, longer term. So also, by the way, happy Labor Day, everybody. I didn't mention that at the beginning. Golden Nugget and DraftKings up a little bit, over 1% for the week. This one here finished at about 22 and some change. Again, before the end of the year, in my opinion, I see this one going to about 30 bucks. We're going to have some dips along the way. In fact, I can probably see this thing dipping down a little bit next week before taking back off, maybe around the 20 range. But if it doesn't, I won't be mad at it. IQST, we had a pretty decent little spike up all the way to about 64 cents, down from 57 cents. And then we fell back down and tried to basically recover to almost right exactly what we started with for the week. So again, guys, these all three of these that I had for last week are longer term plays. They weren't anything to just go and knock anything out the park for the week. So all three of these were some longer term picks for me. So let's go ahead and talk about this week up ahead. All right, guys, so my picks for this week are UVXY, and I kind of feel like we're going to have a pullback in the market this week. It's something to kind of keep an eye on. We have a lot of things happening, with not unemployment, the benefits ending as of today. I think I don't know if that'll spook the market or not, but I think the Fed speaks this week. There's just a bunch of things that are kind of happening behind the scenes this week that may cause a little drop in the market, just aside from being overvalued and due for a pullback anyway, in my opinion. And then, of course, if that market pulls back, UVXY will come up. And then as UVXY comes up, eventually the market will recover, which then triple Qs would be a good play. You can hop into that whenever it gets undervalued and ride that thing back up. And then also DraftKings and GNOG, I see this thing, again, like I said, maybe potentially having a small pullback, but could provide some good buying opportunities, or at least just a weekly swing play. These things here, DraftKings, again, bought out Golden Nugget, and I see that, this is going to be, I think this thing's going to continuously going higher for the next year and beyond. I just think it's a great play moving forward. So looking at to my watch list, Zion Oil and Gas, we're going to keep an eye on that for the week. Again, there's a lot of drama going on with this stock, and the reason I'm watching it is I want to see if it goes lower than what we're at now. We finished at about 20 cents. I want to see if it can get down to 15 or even 10 cents. As scary as that sounds, it's kind of exciting for me, because if it does get that low, then I'm pouncing and buying more and averaging down big time on that stock. Okay, if it starts to recover and shoots up, I'll just kind of hold my ground on it. IQST as well. You want to see if it holds above that 50 cent mark. If we do continue kind of get a little bleed going, and that's again going to create a buy zone. And as well as for hemp, those of you who are watching the channel based on Hemp Inc., they were listed on TD Ameritrade's list of restricted OTC stocks. However, and that they are working on getting their name off of there. It's just waiting on some paperwork from the lawyers. But I told you that this could potentially dip down based off of that. So if it starts falling down, then it would create some good buying opportunities to get in. And then whenever they get removed from that list, potentially start moving back to the upside. Because as much as under the radar as this one is, they have a lot of good things going on behind the scenes, and are focusing really heavy on driving some revenues. They're starting to slowly get into the revenue phase of their business, so it's one to keep an eye on. So that's what we have for today. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts and see what they're telling us. All right, guys, first off, looking at UVXY, we are at the very, very bottom of the fib level. And if the market pushes up a little bit higher, then that's going to push this thing a little bit further down and potentially get it to undervalued. Or if the market comes out and starts dumping on Tuesday, or if they have any type of negative news, then this thing's going to start moving higher. So again, this thing's a little bit more risky. All right, and it decays constantly over time, as you see, but it does have your occasional spikes whenever the market pulls back. You see that this thing can spike up significantly and create some good buying opportunities for you. Basically, whenever it hits undervalued or close to undervalued, you can see it kind of spike up at least to fair value or overvalued. It may not be a considerable percentage to make gains on, but it's something to make money off of on the way down. So next up, we'll look at triple Qs, and this one here, we are getting close to overvalued, and that means that we should see some type of pullback, and we are actually selling off now, although it doesn't look like it, but we are bleeding off a little bit into a bearish pattern. But one thing to keep an eye on here is if we start selling off more of this, these two lines will separate further and will continue to go down. But if they start getting closer together, okay, that means we have some momentum moving to the upside, and your resistance here is going to be 382.71. It can fall, to me, if it does dip, I'm seeing maybe about 375. It may fall down to before you start to recover, in my opinion. So as long as it stays above that red SMA line, it's a good sign, which this one tends to, right? You fall down and it either bounces off, or when it falls below, it makes a really, really good recovery, as you can see here. Just may take some time, but I think this is kind of a safe play. If the market does take some kind of pullback this week, I think this would be a good option to get into and ride up and make some decent gains on. So DraftKings and Golden Nugget. DraftKings, your current resistance about 61.22, current support of 57.16. We are flirting with overvalued again, and if you're going to get in, then I would maybe let this run kind of settle down a little bit if you're going to try to do a swing. However, again, really, really good long-term play for me. Anything 50 to 60 bucks, I think is a decent way to start your position. But if it does ever fall back down lower, then you can always get in and kind of average down. Typically, we don't like to buy up here when it gets closer to overvalued. We like to buy here when it gets to undervalued, because just like a lot of the stocks that we talk about, basically when it gets to undervalued, it's going to recover well. And as you see, this one does recover very, very well. Every time it hits undervalued, it may take some time, but it always goes back and hits overvalued at some point. Just may take a little bit of time. So again, Golden Nugget is tracking DraftKings. Whatever it does the same thing. So if DraftKings pulls back, then Golden Nugget's going to pull back. Golden Nugget support is 21.22 with a resistance of 23.85. Okay, so we're going to look at the other watch list side. Oil and gas finished at 20 cents, and it's just been getting beat down very, very, very much. So the reason I have this on my watch list again is if that thing breaks below 20 cents and we go down to about 15 to 10 cents, then that's where I'll probably average down. I'm even kind of considering getting in some at 20 cents if it stays around that level and starts kind of consolidating around there. We're just kind of have to wait and see what happens on that. So IQST, again, the SMA line, you want to stay above about 52, 53 cents. And it looks like it bounced well off of that SMA line. So tomorrow will be a good test of how it opens. If we start moving forward and going up, that's a good sign. If we start coming back down, then you want to pay attention to about the 48.5 cent support level on that. And next up is hemp, ticker symbol HEMP. And this one has just been slowly bleeding and bleeding and bleeding ever since we hit about 4 cents. So this, again, very, very long-term play. But if it continues to kind of fall down, which I think it could, then I'll probably buy some more eventually. But you can buy, a decent amount of shares for just a handful of money on this play here. But this is, again, a longer-term play. I don't have an exceptional amount of money spent in it, but I do have a very large amount of shares, which is kind of the cool thing, because whenever it does decide to act right and start moving towards the upside, that's where you'll see the benefits and the rewards from it. but it just takes some time on some of these. So anyway, guys, let me know how your week looked last week. Let me know what your picks are for this week. Other than that, we'll catch you in the next one. All right, guys, that's all I have for you in this video. Make sure that you smash the thumbs up button if you found value in today's video. And if you enjoy our content, of course, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. That way YouTube can let you know every time we release new content. Other than that, guys, we'll catch you in the next video.